Hey, what's up guys, my name is Cherno and welcome to the 2015 review video. So, I've never done anything like this before, but basically I'm just going to go through the year, through 2015, and kind of just go through the highlights and everything that happened with me and this channel, and just kind of review it, talk about it. And it'll be great to look back on this later as well and see kind of the growth and development of this channel and all that fun stuff. So, of course, the first video I put up this year was the 2015 update video, because you know me, I absolutely love my update videos. I put them out so much. But anyway, the 2015 update video was kind of, I think, a good way to start the year as well, because for me, it was me kind of just publicly pretty much announcing my goals for the year, and not really just for the year, but it was kind of a short the next few kind of months, right? It wasn't for the whole year or anything like that, but it was just me going through what I wanted to do with a few projects. So first of all, Let's Make Flappy Bird was kind of rolling over from last year. In 2014, I started that series, and I found myself running out of time, not having too much time to do that. So I decided to stop making those kind of 4 to 5 minute episodes for that series and just put out one long video. And I did that on February the 23rd. So Let's Make Flappy Bird, the 3-hour plus video. I think that's probably the longest video I've ever put out on my channel. Like 3 hours and 15 minutes or something ridiculous like that. But I put that video out, and it was the entire game. It was me making Flappy Bird from scratch, using Java and LWJGL. In its entirety, right? The whole project done in one single video. It did really well. It got like over 40,000 views, which was great. And people really seemed to enjoy it for the most. And I enjoyed making it. I thought it was great for me to do something and finish it in a single video. So I think I'll probably do more of that stuff in the future as well. Just finishing something in one video, because all the series that I have on this channel, they just seem to go for so long, right? I end up kind of starting them, and like even Network Chat Programming, which I think was the shortest series that I actually finished, that still took like a year, right? But this is like, you get to see the whole thing in one video. Of course, most people probably aren't going to watch 3 hours and 14 minutes in a row, but they can keep coming back to it at their pace. And there's no kind of them waiting for me to put out a new episode, which I know would frustrate me if I was the viewer in this case. So I really like the situation with that, and I'll probably use that more. Of course, the next big thing that I started was the Sparky engine. On March the 5th, I put out the first video for that, and that was probably the major kind of project that I started this year. I really haven't done anything else that big. And of course, for those of you who don't know, Sparky is my game engine that I'm developing. It's essentially going to be a 2D and a 3D cross-platform, like pretty much all platform, game engine, which is a pretty ambitious project, but for someone who enjoys developing game engines, it's something that I really like doing. And of course, it's my project. So that's going really well. I started that off, I basically ended up doing kind of a new format, something that I hadn't really done before, which was just kind of recording the episodes live while they were actually being live streamed on Twitch, and then putting them up on YouTube. And that ended up having like hour-long episodes, and I think most people enjoyed it. It did create the situation where it was hard to catch up if you fell behind, just because every video would take obviously an hour to work through, to watch at least, and then more time to actually work through and understand and copy the code down. So it wasn't the best, I think, for people watching, but obviously for those of you who are really passionate and really keen, you guys loved it, which was great. And I also put out that Intro to C++ video, which did really well as well. It got over 54,000 views, and I thought it was alright. If I could do that again, I probably would change a lot of things and maybe even talk about more things in that hour and a half, because it was completely unscripted. I think I had a few dot points on the side and that was it. I hadn't practiced there or anything, kind of just went for it. But a lot of people said that it taught them a lot about C++, and I thought that was nice. So overall, I think that was another good kind of highlight video for the year. Okay, what else do we have? Love and Dare 32 in April. the first light on day of the year. I made a game called Shift. Shift was probably, I really liked the game, okay? First of all, it was running on Sparky Engine, so it was totally written in C++, and I managed to export that onto the web, so it was accessible through a web browser as well, and you could play it online. But whilst it looks like a very simple game, and it was for the most part a very simple game, I really liked it, and it was really fun to me, right? And that's something that is important for me as well, just creating a game that's fun, right? So for me, it was, yeah, I really enjoyed that game. And I remember for the first like few weeks after it, I actually did just open up a web page and play it every now and then, just because it was fun, and I did enjoy that. So that went well, and I put up a video about Shift on in late April, April 27th. So after that, another update video talking about the future of Sparky, all that stuff. There was an April update video as well, but I'm not going to go into that details. But the future of Sparky video was good as well, because I decided to stop after 25 episodes of Sparky. I kind of stopped that because I was finding, the reason I stopped that, of course, and I did mention that at the time, was I was just finding that I was kind of not really in a position to record every time I wanted to work on Sparky, right? Because the whole point of that was kind of making a video that was or making that game engine with every single line of code being kind of, you know, filmed and essentially recorded or live streamed, particularly, I think, was the plan. I was finding that there were a lot of times when I just had like my laptop with me. I wasn't home, but I wanted to work on Sparky and I couldn't, because I obviously wasn't in the position to just live stream. So I was finding that was hurting the development of Sparky, because I couldn't work on it as often as I would like. And so I ended up kind of putting that to a close, and just kind of, I think I promised something like making some update videos or whatever of Sparky. And I did do that periodically. Okay, so then I went to Germany in early July, came back early August, went for about a month. I usually go to Germany around winter time, winter in Australia, summer in Germany. And it's just a good holiday for me. It's great to kind of get away from, from home, because you kind of, you basically just take a break from your life, right? Because you're not hanging out with the same friends, you're not doing the same activities, you're not working on, you know, videos or whatever. You know, it's just a really nice opportunity to just take a break from your life and relax. And it's great because that kind of also lets me reassess my life and what I'm doing with it, which of course is very important. So when I came back, I made a video called I'm Back, you know, suitably titled there. And that was in August 14, and before I could really do much, London Day 33 started. Now I actually got sick halfway through London Day 33, so I couldn't finish it. But it looked like a pretty promising game. I was using Unity for the first time ever, which was, you know, an experience, but it was working out alright. Unity isn't too difficult to use. So it was kind of working out okay until I got sick. So, you know, I mean, I was using Unity and I got sick, you know, coincidence? I think not. But anyway, I didn't end up finishing that game, unfortunately, but it was kind of an alright idea I think I had, and it was generally not too bad. So then I put out the Future of Game Programming video. This was in October, and I just talked about how I wanted to break up game programming into more modular kind of components, and instead of just implementing something in game programming straight away, I would kind of just make a modular video about it. Like modular being that you didn't need to watch game programming to actually watch that video. Thus, it would kind of appeal to a larger audience, and it would be suitable for people who weren't up to date with game programming. Which was, being up to date was quite a feat, because there were over 100 episodes, and that went well. I put out the event system and dispatcher video, so that was the first kind of series of those kind of videos, and that also did well. So after that, there was a what's going on update video, in which I talked about Sparky and what I was going to do with that. And the reason I kind of keep putting out these videos, obviously, is because I just wanted to let you guys know that Sparky was still kind of being developed, because since I stopped putting out the official Sparky videos, I just thought that like a lot of people were wondering if the project was dead and if I was ever working on it and whatnot. So it was a good opportunity for me to kind of clear the air on that and just reassure you guys that I was still working on it. I just hadn't put out any videos on it because I hadn't had time and I didn't really think it was that necessary. But that video mainly just covered the next few goals of Sparky and what I was working on, and kept you guys up to date with that. And of course the whole game programming kind of modular videos, kind of videos that don't apply to everyone, or rather videos that do apply to everyone and don't apply to people who are up to date with game programming, that I think is generally a good thing to do, and I'll probably keep doing that in the future as well, since most people seem to like that. And of course it just targeted a wider audience, which is always good. So after that I started the serialization video. This was in late November, I think, November 21. I started the whole serialization video, which was kind of intended for game programming, but of course it was a standalone series that you didn't need game programming to watch. That series is still going on. I think it's going quite well. A lot of people are enjoying it. A lot of people are asking me questions about it on Slack and whatnot. If you guys don't know, I do have a Slack page we'll talk about later. Yeah, so that series did start in November, and of course December 12 was Latum Dare 34. So for Latum Dare 34, I wanted initially to use Unreal, but I ended up using Java, and just pure Java with like a pure little software renderer that I wrote because of the idea that I had. But unfortunately for Latum Dare 34, as I mentioned in the Latum Dare 34 video, I only had pretty much around 1 day to work on it instead of 2, because it was just a very busy weekend for me, because this is like mid-December, right? Like it's a little bit difficult. It was quite late, right? They usually have this in early December, but having it mid-December, and like December 10 was my birthday, and so we had all this stuff going on around those dates, and it was just very difficult to clear my weekend. But I did have about 10 hours to work on the game, and I ended up coming out with a game called Growth. Growth. The title of the game says Grow, but the actual game is called Growth. It's all a bit weird. That's what happens when you have enough time. But it was still a very good game nonetheless. I liked it. It was nice in portrait, which kind of invites me to maybe consider porting it to mobile or something like that, and releasing it. Maybe I'll do that if I have time, which we all know I won't. And I put up an update. I put out like a Growth review video on the 22nd of December, and that was pretty much it. That's pretty much the entire year. Yeah, pretty cool. Another major thing, of course, that I've been doing this year is I started working at EA in January at a studio called Fire Monkeys here in Melbourne. I was working full time, so it's like Monday to Friday from like 10 a.m. till 6 p.m. Every single day, apart from, taking breaks to go to Germany and whatnot. So it's been pretty full on. I was working as a lot of people have been asking me about this job, and I might talk more about it next year and whatnot, but basically I'm a software engineer on the core team, so basically the game engine team, right? And we develop the game engine, which we use for all of the studio's games. So being on the core team is obviously very fun because I like game engines. I like working on all that kind of central technology, and that job allows me to do so. So it's pretty awesome. The major game that we put out this year was Need for Speed No Limits. You guys will see some footage of it right now while I'm talking. I honestly think it's probably one of the best looking games on mobile right now. And of course, working on the game engine that powers that is a very, very fun and brilliant experience. So I'll still be working there next year. So that's gonna be, that might cause less videos to be put out. Probably the same as this year because that was the reason. I don't even know. I actually think I put out the same amount of it. I actually think I managed to put out the same amount of videos this year, even though I was working full time, and I wasn't last year. And I think I put out the same amount of videos. So really, I think I got this work kind of YouTube balance pretty well figured out. So hopefully we'll be able to do a lot of that stuff. And I'm actually going to put out next year. I'm actually going to put out a video very soon about what's going to happen next year with this channel. It's pretty exciting. Okay, I'm actually going to probably, yeah, I'm not going to spoil too much, but it's going to be pretty exciting next year. So you'll definitely want to make sure that you're tuning in for that as that comes out. But anyway, that's pretty much it. I think that's pretty much my entire year. Just trying to think. Anything else exciting happened? Well, yeah, a lot of stuff that happened was pretty exciting. But those are kind of the highlights of my year. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed watching that. Leave your thoughts below. Leave your favorite moments of this year in the comments below. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this year. And I'll see you guys next year. Happy New Year. Goodbye. Whoa.